Hi, friends. Welcome back to Live at the Roxy, a very special edition. I have not been able to get him on the show because he is a workhorse, and finally today is the day. Billy Business in the house.
Oh, I'm so excited to be live at the Roxy.
It is like the lamest thing. I don't even know how I came up with Live at the Roxy. I think it was just like I'll fake call this my show, and then it all happened, and it just kept calling it that.
I have the worst podcast title known to man, and no one gets that it's a joke. So I think Live at the Roxy is great.
Wait, why do you say it's the worst?
Because the whole point of Hot Takes with Billy Business was the irony was that I bring on people to have rational discussions about these movies. And so people think that it's just like the most bare bones yelling show, and it's not. Live at the Roxy's dope, though.
I feel like you do have extremely hot takes, though.
You
don't think so?
Nuclear kid. No. I mean, compared to you.
No, I am not saying I don't have hot takes, but you definitely have hot takes. Like the things you're passionate about, you are so effing passionate about. But then the things you don't care about, you have no opinion on at all.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, yeah, whatever, sure, fine.
Somebody asked me yesterday.
The Phantom, I'm going to get upset.
That's a good point. Somebody asked me yesterday. They were like, "What are you extremely opinionated about?" And I was like, "I think all the things." I mean, I can't remember the last time I was not opinionated on something, which I feel like is a quality I need to work on. Like, I wish I wasn't opinionated on everything. Wouldn't it be nice if I was opinionated on like 50% of things, and the other half of things I was like, I'll let somebody else care about that. Like, I fucking care about everything.
Since
so bad.
2016, I feel like everybody's opinions on everything are amplified. It's like there is no such thing as being a passive, like, yeah, it's fine. It's like it's either the best or it's either the worst on everything.
Yeah, I feel like right before we went on, we were talking a little bit about the changes in what bothers you versus what doesn't based on being a new father. Do you feel like that is affecting how you feel about like if you fight the fight or you don't fight the fight because it like isn't relevant anymore? It doesn't really matter.
I just think like I have a massive ego. And then when you have a kid, you almost like it's the birth of a child and the death of your ego because it's not about you anymore. So the things that I maybe would die on that hill, I'm just like, I don't have like literally the energy to expel fighting this one thing when there's someone that's looking to me like for care. Like you just have to kind of parse your energy out a little differently.
It's like, how will I ever be able to put somebody else like that first? I don't understand how people parent. Like the
first month was so hard for me because I never had roommates when I moved out here. I had my own apartment.
Wait, you've never had a roommate?
Not until my wife.
Wow.
So like
my in college.
No, I planned, I saved specifically so I could get a little apartment right off of campus and wouldn't have to share with anybody. So the idea of like not having me time was the biggest adjustment.
How many months in are you, Billy?
3.
And month 1 was and month 2 a little better, and month 3 a little better than that?
I mean, month 1, it's also just like, how do I not break this thing? And then by month 2, you're just, you're picking her up and everything. But the first month, I was just kind of like, look with your eyes, don't touch with your eyes, don't touch her, because you're going to break it. And then you get over it.
This is a stupid question. I'm going to ask it anyway.
I love stupid questions.
Do some people like injure their kids? Not on purpose. I just mean like, is it common to like drop your kid?
I don't think so. Like, I actually think like the best piece of advice I got from my sister was like, newborns are built to withstand new parents. And I think that's the best advice that I ever got. And that kind of made me more comfortable about it. But like, yeah, she's so tiny when you first get her. And like, I had no experience with kids, but now I'm an expert on my kid. I'm not gonna say I'm an expert at babies. I'm an expert at my baby, but I know what different cries and everything are.
Who is it more natural for, you or your wife?
My wife, 100%. Like, it took me a while to get into it, but now it's like, again, like you said, like just the pitch of a cry, I know exactly what the problem is.
Wow. I like just can't imagine. But okay, before you had a baby, could you imagine Billy Daddy? Or could you not imagine that either? Because like,
no.
I can't imagine it, so it feels like it will never happen. but I think it might happen one day.
It doesn't even happen like for me. It took 3 or 4 days. I was really like upset with myself because we were in the hospital and then we brought home. And it's like, obviously I love my daughter, but I'm not feeling like the kid. This just feels like I'm bringing home a pet or something. This doesn't
Like, did she not feel like yours? Did it feel like she was on loan?
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. And then by like the 3rd or 4th day, I just remember it just like hit me like a ton of bricks. Like I couldn't tell you why or how, but it just like, it was like, this is my baby. But for the first couple days, I felt so guilty that I just didn't instantly feel a connection.
I hear that from a lot of, because we're at the point where all people are popping out children right now. So like every one of my friends is either pregnant or just had their first kid or just had their second kid. And a lot of my girlfriends will call me like very upset and just be like, I don't know what to do in the first couple of days. Like, I don't know how to verbalize this. I hope this doesn't make me an awful person, but like this thing that is now here, it doesn't feel like it's mine. It feels like it's somebody else's,
right?
But it is mine, so I have to do this. And then like usually that will go away after even longer, sometimes than the 3 or 4 days, like a couple weeks even, to be like, oh, holy shit, this is my kid.
And then now it's like I can't wait to get up in the morning because when we go look at her in her bassinet, she just has a huge smile. She's so happy to see us and to get going that,
It's really fucking cute.
It's so cute. Like, I can't wait to get up every morning because she'll just be like waiting for us to come rescue her.
How crazy is this that one day, I mean, I highly doubt this will be the thing that she comes to watch, but one day, like, you're on camera talking about her. Like, if she wants to know how her dad felt about her when she was born, she can like find that.
I actually started, maybe when quarantine started, I set up an email address for her and I started emailing her letters of like, you aren't going to believe me when you're older, and I probably won't remember how crazy the world is right now and how we feel about being pregnant and you being born in like the strangest time in our country's history. So this is literally what I'm feeling right now. And I wrote in the first one, I was like, I hope that this doesn't come as a surprise to you in terms of like, oh, I didn't know my dad was like this. I hope we have the relationship by the time
you know who I am,
where you know already, and this doesn't like, I can't believe my dad would say something like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my dad every year for my birthday, from 1 to 18, wrote me a letter, like year 1, year 2, whatever it is. And as of last year, he started giving me those letters in order. So for my birthday this year, he gave me my I'm 2 years old letter. Yeah. And it was like the most unbelievable gift to this planet because he just kind of like describes the world around at the time. So he was at Woodstock, the like second Woodstock, when he was writing me this letter, and was like, feeling kind of bad, left your mom at home with you and your brother, drove here by myself, but really needed to hear the music, man, like whatever it is. And I read it and I was like, this is awesome because this is so who my father is today, who he was then. Like, it's 3 decades ago that he was, but like I was reading that and I was like, that's so cool that like nothing in here was like, what the fuck? That's not my dad, because we are close. So I feel similarly, and I think that what you're doing is really cool.
One of mine is like, hey, Pen, I'm writing you because I just coughed a couple times, and either the COVID got me or my medical anxiety's kicking in.
I mean, speaking of that, we have to talk about the COVID getting you. Not you, Billy, but guys, you've been tweeting at me, and I know you want us to talk about Donald Trump and his wife getting is diagnosed the right term? Diagnosed with COVID, testing positive for COVID.
Testing positive, yeah.
So
I don't know.
There's so many theories going on around about this. I mean, I thought about like 15 different jokes that I could tweet last night when I heard. I felt like I was one of the first people to hear, which is so stupid because obviously I wasn't, but I was right at my phone when I got the alert from CNN or whatever the fuck sent it to me. And I was like, oh, this is my chance. I'm going to go viral. I could tweet something hysterical right now. And then I was like, it doesn't feel like anything's in great taste. Like, I don't know that I can tweet something about him getting COVID that won't seem like, I don't even know. Like, are we allowed to joke about it? Is it fucked up because he is caught saying he was not wearing a mask all of the time? does he even have COVID? A lot of people are guessing he doesn't. What are your thoughts on this whole situation, Billy?
I mean, I think the fact of the matter is that the first point of contention is like, is this real? The fact that we are asking the question at all, I think kind of just tells the story in itself. The fact that we're like, I don't even know anymore if anything that you say is real, kind of says it all to me, you know?
But what do you think? Do you think it? I mean, obviously, I'm asking you with no authority to speculate. Like,
let me irresponsibly speculate.
That's what I do on this show, because, like, with him, you never fucking know. All it is speculation. Every single thing he tweets, says, whatever. All I can do is speculate, because I'm sure some of the things he says are true, and I'm sure most of the things he says are not. Like, but what the hell do I know?
It's weird because there was like this first wave of like, yes, like you finally are starting to get what you deserve. That was my initial thought. Then my second thought was like, wait a second. What if this is a strategy to get out of the debates, to come back 2 weeks later and just be like, look, it's nothing. I got it. I'm Superman. Then I went back to like, but is Trump smart enough to have that kind of strategy? Wouldn't he just say, I'm not going to debate Sleepy Joe anymore? I went back and forth a bunch of times. And what I ended up settling on was, whether it's real, whether it's fake, do not lose sight of what they want you to forget about, which is that they asked him to denounce white supremacism and he would not do it. I don't care about the fact that, like, okay, what this could mean, what it doesn't mean, what it does mean. Let's look at the one fact that we all know is true because we all saw it, and they would love for you to not keep bringing that up. I think it's, whether it's real or not, it is a distraction from everything else, and I'm not going to forget that. You're
100% right. I think realistically, the only way we will know if Donald Trump has COVID is if he gets really sick. That's the only way we're going to actually know, because if he's asymptomatic, or they're able to hide it very well, then we're never going to know that he had it or didn't have it. So we could speculate all we want, but it's not going to really be relevant. The only time really that I guess it's going to be important to talk about it is if he falls very ill. I still don't know, by the way. I don't think that they've said whether Pence or not has been tested.
I'm sure he's been tested. I don't know what the result would be of that.
There's speculation that he as well could have COVID. So it will become relevant for us to really talk about if Trump gets very sick, and then also become relevant if Pence gets very sick, because apparently the Speaker of the House, apparently Pelosi, takes over. I didn't even know that that's what precedent was. So
yeah, look, there's a lot of like doomsday scenarios. Just my gut feeling says that it won't get that sick. I thought I
tested negative. Okay, thanks, chat.
Yeah, and I don't think it's. Do you think Donald Trump, who won't even say if he loses that he would give up his power, is going to sign anything over to Pence anyway to be like, hey, I'm using a sick day here. You go be president for a week. That's not Donald Trump. So
yeah, unless he gets incapacitedly ill, and then what?
Then it becomes more of a fight. I just again, I have nothing but wild speculation. My gut tells me it won't get there.
Yeah, my gut too. I was listening to a lot of doctors talk about it last night, and they said, funny enough, in similar words to what he said, hang tight, stand by, guys, because they said he gets tested daily. So if he did test positive yesterday, that means that we are still 8 days away from knowing if he is somebody who will have bad symptoms.
Right.
So in a little more than a week, we will know. You are right, though, that it is a massive distraction, whether he has it or not. The timing of this could probably not be better for him.
Or worse. The thing is, too, it's like, my God, if, at this point, you now have he's calling out Joe Biden, making fun of his mask. And then 2 days later, he's got this thing.
Who is that going to convince, Billy? Like, everybody who already thinks that that's ridiculous is voting for him. Who is that swaying?
Sure. I mean, you're not wrong. The whole thing is just, it's such an embarrassing cluster. It really is.
Yes,
I mean, the whole thing is a cluster. I have no idea, again, my gut would tell me like, I've seen a lot of people say like, well, this is to get him out of the debates. I'm like, Donald Trump would just say, I'm not doing it because Joe's a cheater and just not show up.
I think he likes debating. I think he wants to go to the debates.
I think he thinks he did a great job on Tuesday.
Definitely.
By the way.
I think he thinks, I was debating 2 people and I won against both of them. That's how he feels.
It's also just crazy because all those recordings of Melania came out like 4 hours before this, and that kind of got swept under the rug also. Like, it's just it's again, any one of these things would be the major story for months, and here and now it's the span of 4 hours, and it's fuck Christmas, we talked about that, let's move on, you know what I mean? It's just like, what's left, what's tomorrow?
That's what I talk about with his tweets too. Every single tweet he puts out would be the biggest tweet any other president ever put out, but his tweets just a
Thursday.
Mayra M in the super chat says, I totally agree with you, Billy. I had these same thoughts. I'm like, this is Trump October surprise and is taking advantage of this to change the news topic from his taxes and the debates.
I totally even forgot about his taxes. That's the point. Like, oh, that was Monday. You expect me to remember Trump paid, chump change in taxes 4 days later? It's all... It's all coming up a weird lose-lose for everybody.
It's a hard position for Biden and the Democrats to be in now too, though, because are you supposed to not address certain things? How do you not address the fact that the president of the United States got COVID? But then you don't want to focus on it too much because it really doesn't matter unless he gets very ill. So
Biden took the high road and did the meaningless thoughts and prayers tweet. But I don't know. If I'm the Biden campaign, first and foremost, I am wrapping Joe Biden in bubble wrap for the next 2 weeks. Just no one come close to him. Keep him safe. Keep him healthy. But after that,
wrap.
Yes, I'm making Joe Biden Jake Gyllenhaal bubble boy.
I need to see pictures of that.
Artist
make that, please.
I feel bad for campaign advisors at this point because it's like all the rules are off. Any sort of like thing that you trained for, that you strategized, it's all out the window. It's just day by day.
Who are in politics are like, this is crazy because we have all been like taught one way, Republican, Democrat, whichever way you're coming up, like these are the rules and this is how you speak to somebody and this is how it's done, and nothing that's happening is how it's done. So there's nobody who can predict anything, which is what's making me really nervous about November, because everybody thought that Hillary was a shoo-in last time and was leading the polls and XYZ, and it's like, I don't know. People feel very confident about Biden this time. And I'm just sitting here thinking like, I don't know. I don't know that he's got it.
Until I see Trump escorted off of the White House lawn, I will not rest easy, essentially,
I feel that. A lot of stuff going on in the super chat, the Streamlabs, and the Patreon. Let's get to some of those before we get to some of our next topics. Thank you to Jig Yoda for your support here in the super chat. It means the world to me. And going into the Patreon, this was from Glenn Caesar, a question for Billy. He says, hello, Roxy and Billy. Happy Friday. It's great to have you on live with Roxy. Billy, thanks for joining Roxy and virtually hanging out with us. Glad to see you two on screen together again. Okay, Billy, here's one of my favorite questions to ask Roxy's guests. If you could pick any 2 superpowers or special abilities, what would they be? For example, telekinesis, having a healing power for yourself and others, super strength, speed, teleportation, and then he lists some more. What do you think?
Oh man, it's interesting because being a dad now probably changes this answer.
You think so?
Oh, for sure. Because now I'm like, multiple man had it right. If I could have 4 me's in a day, parenting would be super easy. So I'm going to say the ability to like multiply like multiple man, but then it all comes back to one at the end, or like Dr. Manhattan. I'll take that. And then maybe what superhero can like pause time?
I don't know if he's a superhero, but Michael the Angel and Lucifer.
I'll take that. I think they're
Silver, where you're quick enough that like everybody else is mad slow.
I was just like, I would love if I could just find like 3 more hours in the day. So if I could just like take a
yeah.
nap and still 10 minutes, of real time went by, I'll take it. I guess that's super speed too. So can you power nap in super speed?
I don't know, because like you're burning so many calories in super speed. I feel like you can't nap. You would be.
Lord knows I need to burn calories. So maybe I'll just take super speed outright and just.
You can go through walls and shit. There's a lot of stuff you can do. And like, imagine when your kid is maybe 7 and can start being like, Dad, I want this from Paris. And you're like, BRB. I mean,
I guess I would also take telepathy, just because even though sometimes I know like, oh, you're tired, oh, you're hungry, I would love half the time she's just staring, she's just looking. I'm like, I would kill to know what is going through your mind right now.
But probably what's going through her mind is like, goo, 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 goo. Like, it's not like full thoughts.
It's not like, that's
what
interesting.
do I think about? Does Trump have COVID?
I think she literally just discovered that her hands were controlled by her like within the last week.
That's such an exciting realization.
It's crazy to watch, because you see it subtly, and now she's like,
I want this to move, and now it's moving.
She'll like look at something, and then she's just started grabbing, which means that she knows that her hand is connected to her thoughts, which I'm like, I would love to just know how that all happened.
Unreal. Love that realization. I want a fresh new realization like that. What haven't I figured out yet like that? Maybe we
just have to unlock the rest of your brain. Limitless.
What they say, we use like 5% of it. I need to unlock the rest of it.
You and me probably use less than that. Some of those TV fights questions were definitely less than 5% of our brains.
I miss that show a lot. I can't lie to you.
I'm repping our old merch.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
Oh, I should put my shirt on. I loved that show. I think that like, even though some of the questions are stupid as shit, especially during a time like this where like all I kind of want is stupid as shit. Like all I do all day is think about fighting the good fight and how I'm going to figure out like how to be the best ally and where is the best place to support and how to spend enough time doing this. And like, I can't watch these days. Like I put on Fargo this season and it's awesome, but I'm like, this is a lot for my brain. Like, poop and fart jokes, please. Like, what's going? I want to see people like smash beers over each other's heads. Like, it's just all I can handle right now. It's just too much.
I think that was the fun thing about TV fights as opposed to movie fights back in the day. Is like, I feel like we never got too serious with anything. Yeah. Like, it never got contentious. It never really got super heated unless it was like a bit or it was funny, serious. It never got.
We did have a couple of guests on, no names, and you guys can ask because I won't name them, who like cried.
Yeah, sure. That definitely happened. And you're probably right. If you saw someone come on once and you're like, I wonder why they never came back.
That was an interesting thing about it, where like you and I definitely didn't take it that seriously, but some people different strokes for different folks.
Some people are very competitive.
I'll leave it at that. How is it going over there right now? I know that SJU is still going strong, but what are you even working on right now, Billy? Is that a weird way to phrase that? What are you even working on?
What do you even do anymore? We're in this era of COVID. I think everyone was trying to figure out like how do we change our business to adapt? And I think Fandom, who acquired Screen Junkies, I think it was like 2018. That's kind of exactly what people are looking for right now. Is they want to immerse themselves even more into this kind of the stuff that they're into. So, it's finding ways. Like there was no San Diego Comic-Con this year. There was no chance to go to New York Comic-Con. So it's like, how do we still interact with fans,
right?
Even though we're not there. And now we're doing like this trivia show that I think you helped us write some of the questions or looked over the questions for friends that we did.
Yeah.
Just fun stuff like that. And my job is really like now figuring out what I used to do in the studio. How can I do that, but all online? And I think, we're all trying to figure it out. And I think we've done a pretty good job.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait until this COVID disaster is not around anymore so that we can be in the same rooms, and like a lot of people have been asking me at home what's my deal with Screen Junkies, and as I've told you guys, like they've been super straight up and honest with me. I still feel like I'm part of the family. I just haven't been on because like times are strange and tough for everybody, but there will be a day that Billy and I are back in the same room.
Totally.
Just who the fuck knows when.
We have a brand new studio that we just
it's waiting
built.
for us.
It's gorgeous. I can't wait for everyone to see it. I can't wait to see it. I truly don't know when that's going to be, but it'll be. It's there.
But it will be. It
exists.
We don't know. Yeah.
It exists. Yeah. I've seen it.
Such a weird time. Such a weird time. Also in the super chat, Alexander Wilson said, Roxy, is your grandma creeping on your Instagram? So Billy, yesterday was my 200th live show during quarantine.
Wow.
I've gone on this show. I have gone live every day for 200 days in a fucking row, which is like mind blowing. So I called, as one of the things at the end of the show, we called my Grammy live on air, who did not realize she was live on air at first. And then when I told her you are, she was like, oh, then I'm not going to say what I was going to say. And I was like, what is it? And she had seen my most recent, what I call Thirst Trap on Instagram in my denim outfit. And she was like, have you ever heard the expression, leave them wanting more, Roxy?
Just like, I love body shaming grandma. That's my new favorite segment of this show.
It was amazing. It was
I do have to say on your Instagram, this is you probably talked about this ad nauseum at this point, but the thing with your grandfather was so beautiful, and it really affected me, and I love that so much.
I am so fucking lucky. Like I think during this time, it's really important to remind yourself what things make you lucky, and like the fact that I still have both of my grandparents and am able to do like both when he got out of the hospital earlier during quarantine, and that video of the two of them hugging, like I sharing that with everybody was such an honor and joy. And then also being able to give him his war medals that he earned. And like, it's one of the only things he cares about still at that age, at 95, kind of similar to what you were talking about, Billy, with perspective of having a kid. Like at 95, you look back through your life and you think about like the things that you've done, and being a war hero is like obviously very high up on the list compared to other things. And so we put them in this beautiful frame in his kitchen, and every day that I'm there, he comes out and he looks at them. Sometimes he comes over and like touches it or whatever. And it just like makes me feel so fucking happy that's there. So it was definitely really cool. And at 93 and 95, I mean, the fact that I have them here is just like the best thing on the planet. So thank you for saying something about that. Going into the Streamlabs, guys, streamlabs.com/RoxyStrider. Speaking of the 200th show, a couple of you guys missed it in Streamlabs in. Tim said, I missed 200 live, but wanted to thank you for the 200 streams and World Girl episodes. It's tough to watch live for me, but I always go back and watch. Appreciate that, Tim. Also, Katie the Good Witch said, I feel so bad that I didn't make it to the 200th episode. Thank you for being here every day so we don't have to do this alone. I've got you, Katie. No worries, and thank you for saying something. Mac in the Streamlab says, hello, Roxy and Mr. The Business. I was wondering if it is too late to complain that I never received my Movie Fights at Home game for paying for the early tier of Screen Junkies Plus. I love how you turned that place around. What is that comment about?
Dude, that was like 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, the statute of limitations is run up on that.
I think you needed to speak up earlier, my friend.
You could try to find someone that lives or that's from Defy and see if they'll do anything.
What is the Movie Fights at Home game? I don't even remember what that was.
So this was before even I got there, but I guess they made like a card game of Movie Fights. I just remember because when we were cleaning everything out, I found a couple.
Well, if you found one, Billy, obviously you got to send it to Mac.
I don't know what happened to it. It's probably still, we might have junked it. Oh
my God. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Dude.
Texas Teacher in here. So Billy, for a little background, Texas Teacher comes in every so often. We love Texas Teacher. He's been struggling with addiction, and he fell off during quarantine, but he, as of the last message, has been clean and sober for 2 weeks and is doing really well. So that's the update. But he says, Texas Teacher, got my 2 weeks today. Yes. But I know the next month is going to be hard. I've been hired to write something new, but have a very small window to get it done. And I'm known for being able to turn around quick, but never without Coke. Any advice, strength, and hugs And then said, same project, different issue. The cast has already been picked, and I've been sent their audition videos and pics so I can write for their voices. I saw 2 of my former students in the reel, but they were completely nude in the video. Should I tell them? Okay, so those are 2 different things. Sticking with the first one, but I got to decipher that second one.
Yeah, you're gonna have to read that second one again when we get there.
I'm gonna have to decipher that. But for the first one, Texas teacher, you've got a quick turnaround and you're struggling on how to do it without taking drugs. I actually think that this is a very common issue for addicts who, especially if you're addicted to an upper, that those can help you stay up longer, which makes it so that you can get more work done, which makes it so that you can deliver things faster. So you're not alone on this one. I think that you're going to do the best you can to get it done as quickly as you can. And I don't know with your program what you are allowed to do, but if you are allowed to have caffeine, then maybe try some tea every couple of hours. Getting up, doing jumping jacks, keeping the room very cold helps you to concentrate and stay awake. Not going to the bathroom for a few hours. These are all like things that I learned from.
These are also like Geneva Convention violations, by the way.
I mean, these are my realistic tips of like, how do you, if you have to get the job done, like, what do you have to do? So I don't know, Billy, what are your thoughts? How do you concentrate on a deadline?
Clearly, I am no way licensed or qualified to give you any real advice, but I would say,
you don't think I was qualified with the don't pee and keep it cold?
I mean, it's been a while since we've talked, so you could be certified in things I don't know about. I would just say, like, as much as you can, you have to keep the perspective of like, there's only one you, and
you're going to do what you can.
You're going to do what you can, but you are so much more important than any work accomplishment. Even I get it, times are tough, and the fact that you have a project and work that is a blessing, but there's only one you, man. There's only one you, so you have to protect you at all costs. So just anytime you get close to wanting to break, I would just be like, there's only one me, and I can't screw that up.
Yeah, 100% true. And like thinking about what it's going to feel like at the end. Right now you're at 2 weeks, and you said this month is going to be challenging with the tight turnaround, but what it's going to feel like when you're at 6 weeks instead of being at 2 weeks, and how much better you're going to feel. So I love what you just said, Billy. And I think that that was better advice than don't pee for many hours at a time. Okay. Trying to decipher the second question from him.
Yeah. Read it again for me.
Okay. So same project, different issue. The cast has already been picked. So he works in entertainment. He's a teacher, but also does stuff in film.
Okay.
And I've been sent their auditions, videos / pictures so I can write for their voices. I saw 2 of my former students in the reel, but they were completely nude in the video. Should I tell them? So he has students who apparently have been, now he's seen them naked because they've been sent to him so he can write. Should he let them know that that has happened? I think probably not, unless it comes up. Like, I don't know that you have to go out of your way to be like,
why were they
I saw you naked. I don't know what the project is, but maybe it was for, unless you're trying to say that they don't know they're naked somewhere.
That's what I'm trying to get down to the bottom of. Like, is this like they were nude in another film and that clip from that film is in this reel? In which case, like, no, don't make it weird. Yeah. Or is it like some weird
you need to inform
casting?
them, then you need to inform them. But if they already know, I wouldn't like out them to them because it will just make it uncomfortable.
That actually happened to me. I had a friend. And
which part of this happened?
I will tell you. I had a friend, and she was in a film, and it was a comedy. It wasn't like a snuff film or a porn film or anything like that. But she was topless in the film, and we watched the movie at her house because she was so proud that she was in this movie. That wasn't the only scene she was in, and when that scene came on, it was just like, I'm just gonna pretend like I can't see it, as if there's a black bar over everything. And we never addressed it. And to this day, I just like, it's something that I will never bring up.
Well, it's because there's nothing really to bring up or address. Like, she knows she's topless in that scene. Like, what would you say?
Like, oh, great boobs. That's exactly what I thought. Like, there's no compliment to give at that moment, you know? Like, oh, the lighting was great. Like a boobie's not hanging out, you know?
You guys in the chat are needing some clarification too. A Texas teacher, let us know what's really going on. Because if they don't know and like somebody filmed them through a window, that's obviously something that needs to be addressed. But if they're aware, criminal, yeah, I mean, then that's a clear issue. But if they're aware, then just let it lie, I think. Also in here, Katie the Good Witch says, "Hey Billy, I adore you."
Oh, wow, thank you.
And I'm not trying to bust your balls, but
But-
it's been almost a month since SJU had a single person on it who isn't straight and male. Oh, interesting. Is COVID a good enough reason to eliminate diverse representation on shows? Wow, totally coming for you, busting your balls, Billy.
Sure. So to be
we
fair,
asked the tough questions on the show. I don't think you booked that show, do you?
I don't.
Okay.
I actually don't deal with SJU, but I will say we would love it if Roth was available for more episodes. She is maybe the busiest person I've ever met in my life. Danielle was pulled onto some other project that I know has kept her from being able to be a part of SJU.
And there isn't a freelance budget right now. That's
There's
just like
no
what
freelance
it is.
budget.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not happy about it. I know it's something that Joe Starr brings up all the time. I hear you. I don't run that show, and I'm not trying to make an excuse. I don't have anything to do with that show. I'm so sorry.
What I will say is that, and I've said this so many times, Joe, who at least when I was there was the one who was booking it. I have never seen somebody give a fuck more about having diversity and representation. Like, he is so on top of it. And does such an amazing job of making sure that all different people are represented and voices are heard. So whatever's going on right now is definitely clearly temporary. Like, we're all in tight positions. And I'm sure that if you're saying this here, that they're aware of it. And I bet that they're doing whatever they can to try to fix it. Wow, we put Billy in the hot seat.
I mean, I wish I had a better answer than I don't. Like, when I show up on SJU, by the way, just to be clear, that means that someone hit me up at 10:55 and said, "Can you please just come on this show?" And even then, it's usually like, all right, fine. Like, I enjoy SJU, but like, I work on so many things outside of that now that I don't really know most. I always feel like a college kid coming back to high school whenever I go on SJU now, because I'm like, I don't get these inside jokes anymore.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know what
I don't know what you're talking about anymore. Yeah.
Okay, more things going on in the Streamlabs. Ace Money said, "Roxy, I'm leaning towards Trump because sorry. Roxy, I'm leaning towards Trump being ill because he hasn't tweeted in 15-ish hours. If he was just sitting at the White House with nowhere to go and feeling healthy, then he would be tweeting up a storm. He has to be incapacitated." What do you think, Billy? Do you think that there is any correlation?
I was reading something that said, like, Trump is such a narcissist that he wouldn't present himself as physically weak unless it was true. So I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I truly don't know anymore. That's where
I don't know either. We go all over the place on this show, including this question from Glenn Caesar, who says, "Here's a lighthearted question I like asking Roxy's guest. It's a four-part question, Billy. Number one, do you have a favorite go-to food?"
My favorite food of all time is lasagna, so yes. Okay.
Number two, do you have a favorite breakfast food or cereal if you eat breakfast?
I've been on a Raisin Bran kick lately, so I'll say Raisin Bran for right now.
That is literally the lamest answer, but I'll let
Is
you
it
have
really?
it. I just feel like Raisin Bran, like, why isn't it like, I don't know, Lucky Charms?
Because I'm
Apple Jacks.
I'm a dad now.
I get
it's
it.
Such a dad cereal.
Number three, favorite dessert. I feel like I've never seen you eat dessert. I feel like we Screen Junkies got like all desserts all the fucking time, and I never see you eat any dessert.
Oh, I'm such a sweets person. It's because back in the day, at least, if you weren't on the ball getting those,
it would be gone. Yeah, because Mara used to make us mad snacks, and they were so good. She was like an excellent baker. Anyway.
So I'll say, like just a good old-fashioned chocolate chip cookie will make me happy.
My favorite.
Yeah.
Number four and the last one, favorite guilty pleasure food or late night snack.
Del Taco, for sure. I think Del Taco's only good after like 9 p.m.
There are some places that are just like that. I don't think I've ever eaten anything at Del Taco. Is that weird?
I mean, I'm not going to try to be like, Roxy, what do you, it's not great, but it's also like at that moment, it's
I like
fantastic.
that you know that. You're like,
Oh,
okay.
I'm well aware that it is nowhere close to being actual food, but in the moment, it's so good.
So going back to us talking earlier about hot takes and who has them and who doesn't, wonder if you have any hot takes on some of these things that took place in the last 24 hours. Jamie Foxx is apparently returning as Electro in the new Spider-Man. Mind-blowing that this is actually happening. Billy is automatically shaking his head no, so I'm assuming you love this.
I hate it. I hate it so much. We're getting out of control now. I was super excited about Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. I was like, this is awesome. I love it. And now I'm just like, okay, now we're just going to do everyone who's ever been in one of these movies before they kind of were good, or is now just going to come back again. I didn't like J.K. Simmons in Far From Home. That kind of irked me a little bit, and I don't know what they're going to do with Jamie Foxx, but it's like, Roxy, I know you love that movie, so I don't want to offend you.
I love it so much. It hurts.
I know. I don't want to offend you. I just like, of all the, you have to at least acknowledge that the general feelings around that movie are fairly negative. Would you at least cop to that?
Everyone dislikes it, but this is why I'm so confused, Billy, because I have spent, well, I mean, what year did that movie come out? A decade ago?
2014.
Okay, so 6 years ago?
Yeah.
No way. I feel like it came out longer ago than that.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 is 2014.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought I was in high school when it came out. Okay, so fine, it came out 6 years ago. I have spent every day for the last 6 years standing up for this movie. I have never have I met somebody else who likes it the way that I like it. So I'm just so curious. Who are they doing this for? Because I'm the only one of me. So like, this is such a weird business decision to be like, you know, that movie that none of you but Roxy liked, and you know that character that all of you guys thought was stupid. We are gonna bring him and hope that it gets you excited about this. Like, that blew my mind. This announcement was like, wait, I thought I was reading like the Onion article, because I was like, there's no way somebody's heard my prayers and is answering them, but is ignoring everybody else who's ever spoken about this movie. Like, never in my life did I think I would see him in this role in another Spider-Man movie. It makes no fucking sense.
Look, it's either one, like a complete redo, kind of like J.K. Simmons, in which case, like, I'm not really into that. I want someone else to give a shot at it. Or it's multiverse, in which case we don't need to like revisit everything that didn't work and fix it and correct it. We don't need to Days of Future Past everything. Sometimes they could just exist and we don't talk about it. They're that cousin in the family. To me, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is that cousin that you don't talk about.
I'm kind of surprised that Jamie Foxx said yes to this.
I mean, because it's probably going to be a decent amount of money.
Yeah, that must be the reason. Well, only because like I feel like he was the original sad Fleck, like the sad Ben Affleck after he got so much heat. Like, people ripped Jamie Foxx's performance in this to shreds. Not that it was his fault, because again, I thought he was brilliant. But like, people ripped it to shreds. So you would think he would just want to be like, nah, I'm not fucking doing that. I'm not doing it again.
I mean, it wasn't his fault. They just, but he's also complicit. There's a certain point where you have to be like, guys, come on. Like,
shocking that they're doing this. This news was like, all right, 2020, keep bringing it on. What else are you going to throw at us? This is bizarro.
If this is a window into what like we're going to start getting into the like, then so for me, I always say like 2016 is where these superhero movies started to like unilaterally start the deconstruction era. You had Batman versus Superman, heroes tearing down heroes. You had Civil War, where we take all these tropes and we start to tear them apart. If the new phase is like just pour on the nostalgia and let's reopen every door of the past, like I'm just not into it. I was into it for a minute with Keaton, and I still am, because I stand Keaton very hard. But like,
that announcement made sense because everybody likes Keaton. Like, everybody.
Yeah, but even then, like, there was then reports trickled out. It's like, well, they're also getting Kilmer and they're also getting Clooney, and it's like, well, that doesn't. Now you're starting to not make sense anymore, because as much as you don't like it, those 4 movies all technically take place in the same universe. So having multiple thems doesn't make sense anymore because those aren't separate parallel universes. That's still technically the same Bruce Wayne in all 4 movies. Now you're just getting like the weird nostalgia thing, and I don't like that.
Let us know what you guys think. Curious if anybody else is excited about this like I am. I literally feel like I'm the only person on the planet and don't know why they're doing this other than for my like birthday or something. I mean, thank you guys for this gift. I will take it.
What
Sir Joker, I know. Sir Joker 40 says, hello, Miss Stryer. Billy, sir, good day. Question, if you could live in the world of any of your favorite movies, which would it be? Which would you live in and why? Stay phenomenal. For some reason, Billy, this is the question I have the hardest time answering over and over again. I don't have an answer to this. Do you?
No, because it seems like movies and stories are all based in conflict. And so whenever I think of like a very memorable place, it's usually the site of something horrible. Like Jurassic Park is terrible. It'd be cool to see, but it's horrible.
There's mad places I would want to visit for a week.
Exactly.
Nowhere I want to live. Like I always think, not that it's one of my favorite movies, but like Blade Runner, that would be like bizarro for a few days. Or like what the fuck was the Spielberg one that is the video game that
Ready Player One.
Ready Player One for a week. Oh my God, I would be like in heaven. Even Jurassic Park, fine, for a week, I'll figure it out. I'll hide, I'll run, like whatever I need to do. But I don't want to like pick up and live in any of these places. Any of the places I would live are just like our world.
Yeah, just like give me like the 40-year-old virgin universe. Yeah. At least I know where I'm going,
What an actually epic response. In the Patreon, another question for Billy. It's from Weston Iro. Says, hope this isn't too late. First, props to Lauren LaGrasso, previous guest of the show, for releasing a new single today. Everybody go check that out. My question is, what would be hashtag Rixies? So they always give ship names to me and the people on the show. So I guess ours is Rixie, like Billy, switching off every letter. I don't know. First, so what would be Rixie's first 2 things on their agenda if they were in charge of Amazon instead of Bezos douche? Okay, first 2 things on our agenda if we were in charge of Amazon.
Well, pay profit, some sort of profit share. You got to take care of those employees. So that's
pay people more. You got to, and like give more money away because there's all those stats about how he could solve world hunger or like just a million other things. Maybe just donate more.
That's a weird question. I don't like. I love you, Rox. I don't know if I want to co-own something that big with you. That's like a really big commitment. I'm really busy right now.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know that I'm the right person for the job.
I feel like Amazon would be out of business in a calendar week if we took it over. We have no idea what we're doing.
The reason it works is because he obviously is super duper cutthroat about it. So like it would be a bummer if Billy and I took over and then Amazon went under. Which is probably what would happen because I'd be like, I'm paying my employees mad more money and also any other money I'm donating. Like, and then Amazon would go away and then everybody during this pandemic would be like, wait, how the fuck do I get any of my stuff? And I would be
how do I watch The Boys? So
I'm like, not my problem. Sorry. Go ask Bezos, as we call him, I guess.
I really want to know if that person that calls Bezos a douche actually has Amazon Prime though.
Yeah, I know. Anybody who does usually, like, I can't shit on him because I use Amazon every single day. Every day I use it.
Do you use the Smile Amazon?
Wait, what is that?
So if you go to smile.amazon.com, it is 100% the exact same thing as Amazon. No change. But every purchase that you make, they donate to a charitable cause that you choose.
What is it again? What is the
smile.amazon.com? And if you go there,
did you use that?
That's how I shop Amazon is smile.amazon because at least while I'm being a hypocritical asshole, that Amazon's giving money to somebody at that point.
Wait, I need this.
Everyone should be doing it. There's no reason not to use smile.amazon.com.
I guess
if you're going to use Amazon.
I guess I got to do it. All right. Leonard Kim in the Streamlabs says, "Hey Roxy, the hair looks great today. Thanks, friend. Question for both you and Billy: are you more excited for the future of DC or the future of the MCU/Marvel Disney Plus shows?" Good question, Leonard Kim. Thanks for your support as always. Billy, do you have a strong feeling on this?
I think as of right now, I'm much more interested in the slate coming from DC. I feel like Marvel has a lot of cool things cooking, a lot of things I'm very much looking forward to seeing. But, I said this on the day that Fandom was happening, like Marvel's had their day in the sun and DC finally kind of got the spotlight on them and they didn't disappoint. And everything that they're coming out with is now like stuff I'm really interested in. I appreciate that every DC movie feels so wildly disparate from the last one that it's before maybe you could call that a weakness. And now I kind of see it as a strength. Like I kind of don't know what I'm going to get from each movie. And that excites me a little bit.
I feel that way too. Obviously, I'm a stronger DC person than I am a Marvel person, so I'm always really excited about DC. But I thought DC fandom did a really good job of like lighting that fire again for me. Like, wow, all these things are really cool and exciting. And there's actually not a movie on their slate right now that I'm not excited about. So that's pretty exciting, for lack of better words. I guess that could change at the drop of a hat, but like I'm excited for both, but way more for DC. A couple other things that took place between yesterday and today. Anne Hathaway is starring in the Witches adaptation. That's the Roald Dahl movie. Billy, any feeling on this at all? Did you ever read this? Do you have thoughts on Anne Hathaway? People seem to have really strong opinions on Anne Hathaway.
I have no idea why. I don't know why.
I gotta say, she is annoying. And like, I hate being that woman who's calling another woman who didn't do anything annoying. But like, I've heard her talk about things that really bother me. Like when she's asked about cannabis and she's like, my kids are listening to this or whatever. And I'm like, I get that that's your prerogative, but also like, oh,
she has kids.
Maybe she meant the kids. I don't know. She's I think she said her kids.
I have no problem with Anne Hathaway. I have to say, I feel like it's women that have mostly the problem with Anne Hathaway.
No, why is that? I hate that.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, she's got 2 children. She got 2 kids.
Oh, I had no idea. I didn't even know. I had no idea.
She has a spouse named Adam Schulman, and they've been married since 2012.
No clue. I watched the trailer just before coming on here. I think it's we grew up with our Matildas and kind of like those kids movies that I feel like they don't make as many of them anymore. Like just straight like Kid in King Arthur's Court, like those like guys, this is made for kids. Mm-hmm. The reviews don't matter. It's like, does this entertain kids? And I feel like they don't really make those anymore. And when I watched this almost felt like a throwback to something like the mid 90s or late 90s kind of kids movie, which I'm all for. Kids deserve to watch movies too. That doesn't mean it has to be crap. And I'm not saying this is crap. I'm just saying like they deserve to have their movies too.
You're probably looking at it a little differently too now that you have a daughter and you're like, oh, it'd be nice for not, obviously not the right age right now, but just like it's nice to have movies that are for children.
Yeah, like look, assuming that theaters ever are still a thing by the time she's old enough to go, like that's the kind of movies that we'll be going to see as a family. So yeah, I don't want them to ever stop making those.
I have to say that I actually read The Witches growing up. I was like a big Roald Dahl. I loved BFG. I loved The Witches. I thought that I was not very good at reading, and I am like partially dyslexic and was always like very embarrassed reading growing up, and his stuff just like stuck with me and actually was something that I wanted to read and was like easy enough and simple. So I have definitely a place in my heart for The Witches, and this trailer looked fun. Like this is something I actually think I will watch, even though it's clearly not made for me. I'm like, okay, cool. I like that we are in October and it doesn't feel like we're in October at all, especially in LA where it's 100 degrees and we're supposed to be in spooky times. And this movie's coming out and I'm cool with that.
Did you like the BFG?
The book or the movie?
The movie.
Not as much as the book.
I just remember I went to go see Captain America Civil War and they showed the trailer for the BFG and it just said, at the end of the screen just said BFG as if most people would immediately know. And I'll never forget the person behind me was like, what is BFG? And the guy's like, I think it's like big fucking giant.
It's It's a big friendly giant, man.
It's the big fucking giant from Walt Disney Pictures.
That's so good. Oh, I wish I was there for that. I fucking love that story, and I want to have been in the room for that. One more piece of news that came out. Did you see Rick Moranis being randomly attacked in New York City? I think he was on the Upper East or Upper West Side, and he was like, there's footage of it. There's this guy walking by who then just like kind of like turns over, and you guys can look this up. I can't play it or I get demonetized, but it was fucked up. And I already, like, I have so much room in my heart for Rick Moranis. Watching this, I was like, man, 2020, why are people like this? Did you see this?
I did. I wish I hadn't. My life is not better off from having watched that footage. Quite
I'm
the
sorry
opposite.
for doing that to you. Yeah, I know.
Just like, my God, the guy, it's like Groundhog's Day. He comes out once every few years, and this is what you do to him? You beat in Rick Moranis?
Like why? Do you think they knew it was him?
Probably not. It didn't look like it was like targeted. It just looked like a random senseless act of violence.
100% agree. But then so it's just randomly against him, and doesn't that make people feel nervous walking down the street? I'm always nervous walking down the street, but it's just like, why? You never picture walking down the street and then somebody just starts like bashing your face. What?
I mean, those are just like the kind of stories and stuff that it's just like, I don't know, maybe we deserve everything we get, and as humans, we deserve to be wiped off the face of this earth by a virus in the sun and ozone.
Do you think we have collective karma or individual karma?
I mean,
or no karma?
No, I definitely think that, I don't know, call it karma, call it whatever you want. I do think the universe kind of corrects itself. I would like to think it's individual and that I'm not paying for the sins of others, but at the same point, we're all human beings, and this is what we do to each other in general. It's just kind of like, I don't know. If I was an alien and I came down and I saw this, I wouldn't bother with this. I'd be like, we'll come back in 100 years when they've wiped each other out.
Do you think they are here?
I don't know if they're here, but I think they're out there. I think something's out there.
Yeah, me too. I think it's crazy to think nothing's out there.
Yeah, that's insane to me.
Yeah, me too. Sir Joker 40 says, did you see Antebellum? Thoughts? I thought it had a good premise, but not great payoff. I gotta say, I did not see this, and I heard some atrocious things about it.
Hard, Sam. I heard it was like offensively terrible, so I didn't even bother. Yeah, that word offensive was thrown about this a lot, and I was just like, I'm just not in the mood to watch anything that isn't going to just make me laugh and smile right now. Which is tough because it's October. This is when people want to watch horror movies, and I know my wife is really big into horror, and I'm just like, first of all, I'm not, but second of all, like, I'm just not into nihilism right now. Like, I don't want any more of it. I know. I'm with you on that times a million. Glenn Caesar in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Strike says, thanks for giving us another great show, Roxy and Billy. This was really fun to keep the streak going. Here's the daily reminder. You're kind, you're smart, you're important, and so you are worthy. Peace, love, and hugs. Have an awesome day, Roxy, Billy, and the rock stars. What a really nice message to get us out of here, Glenn Caesar. Very, very sweet. Appreciate it. To all of you guys watching, thank you so much for being here today. And make sure to leave that thumbs up, a comment, let Billy know how awesome he is. Billy, you've got a ton of stuff going on other than Screen Junkies. Where can everybody find you, your podcast, everything you're working on? I think if you really want to see what I'm really working on, really excited about, we just launched season 3 of Reboot It. It's myself, producer Bill, Ron Swallow, and Ed Greer, who has the hottest of hot takes, Hot Take Sally. He really does have some serious hot takes. He is sizzling, Ed Greer. What is Hot Take Sally? We just started calling him Hot Take Sally a while back, and then anytime that he would be like, let me tell you why Star Wars is dumb, we'd be like, Hot Take Sally. He hates magic. He doesn't like a lot of things. Like Magic the Gathering, or like magic, like Magic, the concept. Like anytime that there's magic in a story, he just loses his mind. Really? Yeah, hates it. But anyway, it makes it very interesting. I'm suspicious of people who hate magic. I mean, maybe he's trying to hide something. I don't know. What are you trying to hide, Ed? But we just launched season 3 of Reboot It, and that's every Saturday on the Reboot It YouTube channel. check it out. It's fun. I like it.
Awesome. And do you have a podcast? It goes up on that feed too, or are you doing
Yeah,
just YouTube?
It's the final season of Hot Takes season 4. It's just
Yeah.
time to move on, but I want to go out with a huge bang. Just all your favorites and people I haven't gotten on yet, like this, or I guess wait, let me look.
Doesn't that suck? I do that fucking too.
Yeah.
Every single time I'll be like, this guy, and then I look like him.
I definitely want to talk Lost with you on the show. Yeah,
I love Lost so much.
We'll get her done.
All right, Billy, thank you so much for being here today. To you guys as well. Again, I will be live for the 202nd episode during quarantine tomorrow, 1 p.m. I think that Steph Sabram might be joining us. I'll keep you guys posted on my Twitter and in the Patreon. Much love. Continue to make your beds. Brett Hankinson, Miles Cosgrove, Jonathan Mattingly, arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. Apparently, they are releasing the tapes today. Apparently, they already have them from the court decision and how that was made, and that doesn't usually happen. So it will be interesting to see what is on there. We'll be talking about that tomorrow, so I'll keep you guys posted on that. Sorry, at the very end, I did still get it in there. That's 71, I believe, days in a row that we've had to talk about this, and we'll keep on doing it. Now that we're ending on that happy note, like I said, make your bed, stay safe, be kind to one another. Thanks to Billy again. Go follow him and all the things he does, and I'll see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. live with Roxy.